All right, everybody. I am joined by the lovely, the brilliant, the amazing Miss Xuan Liu. And before we start, I just have to tell you that I was the lucky winner of this interview because of my seniority. But actually, it was like a fight who was going to get to interview you because I think there's like a lot of crushes out there on Xuan Liu. Just saying.
I did not know that. Wow.
It's a
Awkward.
it's a battlefield out here, but the girl crushes always take precedence anyways. And okay, so first of all, my girlfriend Aaliyah, who is a hero in the female poker community, told me you were doing this challenge, and I just was like, wow, this sounds crazy and amazing. It's a story we 100% want to cover, and we always want to get it right from the horse's mouth. So for the audience who's not up to speed, who doesn't know what you're doing right now, first just like catch us up on the challenge itself.
Sure. Okay. So the gist of it is I'm trying to be the very first person to ever play poker in all 10 provinces and 3 territories in Canada. I don't think it's been done before. No one can prove it otherwise.
So what was the inspiration for this? Was this like a drunken home game night? Was
Okay, so the original idea, we were thinking about making content since I just started a YouTube video. But so far, all my YouTube videos have just been like, highlights of me playing on stream, or some of the most recent ones, I've been like doing some voiceovers, but it's like super casual, and someone suggested I kind of dive in and go deeper in this content stuff. And I thought it might be fun. So I thought of this idea. I would travel to every province, do it, uh, got WPT Global to sponsor me. And, initially the agreement was that they would give me a budget to travel and, stay at like reasonable hotels, and they would pay for my flights and stuff like that. And it would be like a super casual, like, go at my own pace kind of thing and really get to know the communities. But then we had a meeting, Jamie and Thomas and, someone else who worked at WPT Global was there. And this person was like, I don't think that's interesting enough. And was like, I wouldn't watch that, but you know what I would watch if it was like a bankroll challenge, or like, and I don't even think you can do this. He's like, let's say you start with like $1,000 or something, and you have to like earn your way through all the provinces. And so he just like kind of leveled it up, and they bet me $50,000 that I wouldn't be able to do it because it's genuinely really, really hard. Like, yeah, I'm getting free meals sometimes, and like I'm asking, places to like put me up in hotels for free, but I've spent like thousands and thousands of dollars just like flying from one province to another. And these flights are not like, $50 on Flair or whatever. Each flight averages about 400 Canadian dollars. And I'm starting playing with like at like the 1-2 and 1-3 tables. Like that's a significant win rate to maintain. And so yeah, every stop has been a little stressful, but it's also been so rewarding just to like be engaged in the communities. And I mean, I grew up in this country. I'm still very Chinese in many ways, but this is the country that like raised me and my family and gave us an opportunity. And I just love it so much. I've driven across the country before. Not from that far east. I've never been all the way to Newfoundland before, and you know what? This has also been just like kind of a stressful, weird year for me. Um, I was kind of out of poker for a while, and I this was the first year I decided to like officially play poker again. And I've been playing like high stakes cash games, like kind of like as high as I ever have, and it's been stressful and it hasn't always turned out well. And so I'm like just wondering if I made the right decision to come back into poker at all. And this was just kind of a way for me to like get back to the roots. Like I used to be that like 1-2 grinder at the local casino. And traveling is actually what made me want to be a poker player. Just the opportunities, the freedoms, not having like a set like schedule or anything like that. That's so I'm just going back to all the things I used to love about the game, except on like Red Bull mold, just like bam, 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 because I have to do it all in 1 month. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, and for those, I think they also didn't hear, you mentioned some of the issues with bankroll. So lay out for us, in order to play poker in all 10 provinces, you also had to do it with a very specific budget and in a specific timeline.
Yeah, so the budget is $1,000 American dollars on WPT Global and 1,000 American dollars live. Um, so the live stuff has officially been depleted because I've spent, I've spent over $5,000 on flights and stuff so far. I haven't been able to sustain that. But I still have online money left, and yesterday's session went pretty well. So I'm just like staying afloat here. I think I have a challenge with Rampage tomorrow. He's gonna play me heads up. So if anyone's gonna chip dump to me, if anybody's gonna blast off and punt,
Yes.
it's gonna be Ram punts.
Like, please, Rampage, can we get the donation? It's for a good cause. But it's interesting because having been paying attention to your journey a little bit, and you sort of touched on this, that it's, taking you back to some of the heart of the game, the original, like the 1-2 grinders. And I've seen even you trying to find games in all of the provinces. Sometimes you're ending up at like home games and bar games and pub games, but like it feels very grassroots. And I can see you posting these pictures and hanging out with some people like Alex Livingston, who lots of us probably would know from the poker community, but then also hanging out with just like people who have probably been fans, people who love you. So talk to me a little bit about that part of the journey, the connecting with other poker players part of this experience.
Yeah, it's been super surreal. Like I did not have a plan going to Newfoundland. I knew next to nothing about it other than it's like the most easterly point of North America. So I flew there and the night of, I have someone helping me a little, like looking at flights and stuff like that. He's like, "Hey, I just found this Facebook group. They have a game tonight at 7 p.m." I got in at like 4 p.m. or something. He's like, "You just have to go." So I just like showed up. I like messaged them on Facebook. They were like, I think they thought it was like kind of weird, I didn't really look like anyone else there or talk like anyone else there. And I just showed up. It was on the Royal Canadian Army Force base. And it was just like a bar game. It was super fun and they were so welcoming. And honestly, every stop has been kind of like that. Every stop obviously has been a little different. Sometimes, you know, so the tricky part is I like want to be engaging and warm to them without really telling them that I'm doing a bankroll challenge because I also don't want them to take advantage of me. It's like, okay, like, and a lot of them like kind of treat me like kind of awkwardly. Like, is she broke? Like, I could have sworn I saw her on like high stakes poker. And, like they don't like really want to ask too many questions sometimes. And I'm just like smiling, like super happy to be there. And yeah, at the same time, like I don't want to let them know I have like, a third of my bankroll on the table right now.
I think it's so interesting, especially from somebody who, has been playing really high stakes and has made that shift. It's always, I mean, it's not just humbling. I think it's a whole other sort of psychological experience to come down in stakes, but also to move up into these stakes. And I think this is something a lot of poker players can relate to and share your sort of like, hey, this year was kind of hard. This is like a little bit of a struggle. Can you talk a little bit about sort of both of those experiences, about moving up and then also having this situation of having to very quickly just try moving down?
Yeah, so I mean, I moved up kind of not entirely on my own accord. Like I kind of just got thrust into a few games where like someone I had just met was like, "Okay, I'm going to take a piece of you here." But, I didn't know any of the players. I didn't really know the environment and like kind of just like lost a ton of money in super high equity spots that, where I just had like a lot of pressure and did the best I could, but like those weren't really games I usually play and that kind of sucks because I never would have made those decisions but that's kind of what poker and life is, and a lot of times you can't really prepare. You can study but you can never really prepare yourselves for everything that comes at you. um and yeah, sometimes you just got to wing it and sometimes it doesn't work out, and I know I'll always be fine. I have like a really good support system, and worst comes to worst, if I have nothing else going for me, I can always play lower. I can always go back to 1-2, I guess. Um, but no, I feel incredibly blessed. Just like meeting all the people who've been so warm and welcoming, and lots of people saying thank you for, showing up in their community. But like people don't realize how many people in Canada play and love this game of poker. Like you guys have a lot more people down there in the US, and Canada's population is the size of all of California, and we're so spread out. And that's why I think, no one's ever done something like this before. And and no offense, but we're actually the land of the free because we can still play online poker. Like I'm here in Yellowknife, New Northwest Territories right now. It's one of the most, remote places on earth. And I have a lead for a game, but I don't know if it's going to come into fruition. But I can always just fire up my online tables and finish the challenge that way. So yeah.
Girl, sick brag. Thank you, by the way. But you're right. It's really depressing. But I hope I'm even seeing the NAPT come back. I was like, we're moving in the right direction, like a little bit. Well, talk to me a little bit about the other things that have been sort of catching your eye. You said like you committed, to being like a professional poker player again this year. What are some of the other things that you do maybe that we don't know about already?
Oh man, I've been partying way too hard in some spots, honestly. Like, I just full blown got thrust back into this high stakes poker life. And I mean, obviously, I'm not complaining. Some of it has been really fun, but it's also like, it's really catching me off balance in a lot of spots and not entirely the direction that I thought I would be going in at my age and situation. But, you know, I'm I feel very lucky and I'm having so much fun at the same time. Um, Other than that, yeah, trying to do the content thing. Like I've done Twitch streaming before, never fully like jumped into it. When I was sponsored by another company, that was part of my deal then. Um, and stopped for mostly personal reasons. Plus, I wasn't really committed to poker for a while. But YouTube, I think YouTube's more fun. You can kind of do things at your own pace. At the same time, it's also a lot of hard work. Like I know like people know that, but like if you see the amount of work like Rampage and Brad and Andrew, like those guys put in, it's insane. It's like a full-time ordeal. Like no matter what you're doing, you're always like scanning for things that could be interesting, that's good for content, you have to really be cognizant of your numbers and kind of live your life in a way that like your viewers would appreciate, which is kind of bizarre. At the same time, it's also a blessing to have so many people who look up to you and are asking for more content. And I think it's a disservice, there- if you're not kind of giving them what they want in some ways. Like there's so much nonsense and noise and like shitty stuff out there on the internet that like if I can set a good example or bring something, positive, um, I don't see that there's anything wrong with that either, as long as I'm also living my life the way I want to.
Well, part of this challenge is, and by the way, girl, I like feel you on the content thing. And it's been so refreshing for me as someone who's been in the media for so long to see so many players jump into the content space and to kind of finally see that it's like what you actually see is just a small portion of the creative and emotional energy that goes into every piece of content, that comes out. And it's, I think ultimately been so good for everyone to have so many brilliant minds jump into this space and just to see what people are doing with it. And yeah, I think the poker community is applauding and happy. And I do want you to, before we go, to tell us where we can watch your content, where we can follow along with this journey. But you're partnered with WPT Global, who have also, I think, come in and just done a lot of really cool, fun, unique things and, thrown a lot of money around, which we all appreciate. And one of the things that they've done in relationship to this challenge is you're also giving away a seat to the WPT Championships in December. Let the fam
I
know how
am.
they can be a part of this.
Yeah, this is super important. I'm giving away a 12 $1,400 US dollar package to the WPT World Championships in December. It's going to be super last minute because that's kind of dependent on if I can finish this challenge. But you need to sign up with my code. It's just Xuan. I hate that I'm competing with the other vloggers, but if you use my code, you'll get a shot at one of these packages. And make sure you have a visa. It's completely non-transferable. So it's a must-play 10K package. I hope you win. Sign up with my code. There, I have a landing page on WPT Global. So you can just click through that.
And I can tell you guys already, the win at Poker Rate is sold out. So it's like just getting connected, getting in there. I think they have a $40 million guarantee on the main event. So like this is the event you want to go to. The win is not paying me anything. They did not sponsor this. WPT Global did not sponsor this in any way. This is just genuinely a really good opportunity. And I think probably because you have to be Canadian to win yours, right? So this
Yeah.
also,
Sorry, I
if you're
forgot to mention.
listening and you're Canadian, there may be only 3 people. Who knows? There may be 1,300. We don't know. But I've definitely seen last year WPT Global gave away so many seats to the Win Championship, and we've followed a lot of those people on PokerOrg. We tracked a lot of them when they were there. I think the experience was just like so awesome for everyone. So I definitely recommend you guys jumping on that and following Juan's journey, which for those of us who want to and want to continue to outside of your Twitter, which for sure throw that in here also, but tell us how we can be a part of your YouTube community.
Yeah, so again, I've been really bad with it, but I'm just youtube.com/Xuan Liu, my full name. On Instagram, I'm XXL23. I do like stories and stuff like that. When I'm like super depressed and after a losing session, I don't do as many updates. But sometimes you'll like have me like on the verge of tears. But no, it's been super fun and just want to be super authentic about it. And on Twitter, like you said, I am also XXL23.
I mean, the authenticity is what we're all here for, I think. And I think that's what's been so great about players getting into content is that it's so much of it is just unfiltered and relatable. And for sure, that's for me at least seeing this journey of you going through Canada. That's one of the things that has spoken to me the most. Is just like jumping in there and getting down with the 1-2, getting in the pubs, taking pics with the fam. It's I think it just for a lot of us, it reminds you what this game is about and what we love. Okay, anything else before I let you go?
No, I hope you guys follow along and send me some run good.